call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Welcome into the Pod at the Palace pregame show live from Goat Lab Red, 1214 North Garland Avenue in Fayetteville. Curtis Wilkerson, John Neighbors, Andrew Ellis here, taking you up to tip-off of Arkansas's massive road test against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It's a big one. We're going to talk about it, but most of you are getting off work right now. Here's my advice to you. Don't go home. Come here. Come hang out with us. Yep. Stay for the game. Take advantage of their progressive wings deal. Get here before tip-off. Get your first orders in. Wings start at $1, and they go down by a penny for every point that Arkansas scores at every media timeout. If you looked at the over-under for this game, it seems like you might be in for a pretty good deal. It is also crawfish season around these parts. You can come out, get a pound of crawfish for $9.99, and you can get all the fixins included for $13.99. So, fellas, that's good for the vibes right there. But I got to ask you about your vibes for this basketball game. I mean, this is a big one, a big opportunity here for Arkansas. We've got it's a top 25 matchup, a big road test. It's a seed line type of game for the NCAA tournament. SEC standings, it's a big game from that standpoint. Let's just start it right here. Scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling from a confidence standpoint going into this game?
I'm probably somewhere between 5 and 7, and I chose 5 and 7 because I didn't want the kids to think I was making a joke.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
I genuinely, I'm not overly confident, but I am excited, and I don't want to sound like the guy who's like, hey, I just hope both teams play hard and have fun, but I really do just want to see a mature adult version of the Razorbacks. If you wind up losing the game, we can live with that. I just don't want to see these huge swings where it looks like they're not ready and where we have to openly question if they even wanted to be there in the first place. We're getting closer and closer to March. I mean, next week will be March. You can't be wondering about your team's motivation, wondering about their game-to-game consistency. And so I'm hoping if you lose a high-scoring game in Tuscaloosa, if that happens. In fact, we do it pretty much every year, so it's no big deal. But I really just want to see the Hogs have an inspired effort and look like an actual adult basketball team, even if that means Bama hits 18 threes and you lose.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's Bama, as we all talked about on Inside Arkansas Live. You haven't beaten them since 2021. There's something about them that you've gotten close at times. You've had lead at times. You've played them on the road a lot, but it's just not worked out for you. And I'm not saying that I'm like scared of Alabama, but they're definitely one of those teams that because Arkansas's lost, and I've seen sometimes what they've done to teams whenever they've gotten hot from three, it's one of those things where it's like, as long as they just don't do that, I think Arkansas can win the game, but they're just offensively year in and year out, doesn't matter how many players they change or whatever, they are perfectly capable of just killing you from three. And we know Arkansas has had struggles at times of guarding the three. So I look at it where I'm nervous about it. I don't feel great about it, but I'm also don't feel pressure. I don't feel like there's just this, oh man, if Arkansas loses this game, Razorback fans are going to go full Kentucky fans. It's just like, we need to have a conversation on the Hill about John Calipari. It's like, it's not that level, but it's one of those things where if they lose, I hate it. But I'm not saying the season's over. This team stinks, and they have no reason to play the rest of the year anymore.
Yeah, it would be a missed opportunity. The only way I would lose sleep about it is if they come out and they're not competitive like we saw at Auburn and Georgia. You got to hope that they're past that. I mean, it's as Kamani Johnson likes to say, it's nut dropping time, right?
That's right.
It's that time of the year where you got to start figuring things out and show up to compete every game. But John, you said something there about Alabama. Like it's not a fear factor thing, but you know I think about the stakes in this game. We just kind of laid them all out there. It's a big one for both teams. But for me, like I think I would take a lot of real satisfaction in beating Alabama in particular. One, because just beating Nate Oates for a change. Like I have to guess that if we did a poll of Razorback fans of like who's your least favorite SEC basketball coach, he would probably win, and he would probably win in a landslide, especially now that Cal is ours.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the case. And the other part of it is I feel like beating an Alabama program here that you feel like Arkansas is better than as a program, but Arkansas's had all the success the last few years. Alabama has matched it, and they've even had more. They've been to a Final Four. They've had your number. There's just something about it. There's like this weird, I called it kryptonite earlier. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but Arkansas hasn't been able to get over the hump against these dudes, and it would be a pretty validating thing if they're able to get it done here tonight.
Yeah, it might not be the best win of Arkansas's season, but I feel like it would be a very important one at this stage. You're absolutely right about us not liking Nate Oates, but for as much as we don't like him, we obviously respect what he's done at Alabama and the consistency and the success he's had against Arkansas, frankly. But I think you're 100% right in that. for Arkansas, this is not a situation where like your fate as a program is going to be determined by what happens here in this game. But I do think it'd be very validating if Arkansas is able to kind of show their identity, show that they're a little bit ahead of schedule. That's a term we've used a lot this year with Arkansas returning a lot of veteran guys. You just hope that Arkansas wouldn't have to go through all these ups and downs, and they've taken their lumps for sure. But I feel like this is a big game for Arkansas's maturity and their identity to kind of show up. And you look at a Bama team who certainly has their own offensive identity for sure, but they've had some guys in and out of the lineup. They haven't had their full roster during SEC play. They literally had a professional guy join their team for 3 weeks, and now he's gone. And so you would think, if you're looking at this from an Arkansas fan standpoint, why would you not be ahead of schedule from where Alabama's at? From a metric standpoint, these teams are pretty much dead even, no matter where you look, in terms of just where they're ranked in the KenPom, net, all that. I think this would be a big opportunity for Arkansas to kind of show, hey, we're lumped in with some of these teams, but we're better than this one. I think that's a huge confidence boost going into March.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at it to where if Arkansas wants to be that team, if they want to be a team that contends for the SEC regular season title, this is the type of game that you have to win. Now, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that Arkansas should be the favorite in this one and anything. But if you want to be that team and viewed as that team, this is the type of game that you need to get, because I think you've talked about it, Curtis, I know, is you're looking for that marquee road win. And this would be it. This would be a marquee road win. We talked about, thinking about the Alabama, Florida game, road games at the end. It's like, hey, if you just split one of them, it's like, man, hey, if you win this one, then hey, you're ahead of schedule there, right there, and you got a 4-game win streak, and then suddenly the home games are opening up a lot easier. It's one of those games to where, again, if you lose, it's not the end of the world, but man, if you win, it just changes how I think every Razorback fan suddenly is like still waiting and seeing about what this team's legit or not. They win tonight, everyone's on board. Like, hey, we can do this. We can beat Florida. We can win the SEC regular season.
Yeah, it's yes. The one thing missing on the resume is a signature road win for Arkansas. They've had some good ones, and they've been playing well, and so has Alabama. But I do think for a lot of people out there, it's like jury's still out. We need to see the outcome of this game before we buy all the way back in on either one of these teams. Obviously, Arkansas coming off of that bye, they've had 3 games where they've looked the part, man. They've looked really good. Not the best competition. Same thing with Alabama. I think. Well, they have Ole Miss and South Carolina last week. Congratulations for that. But they did what they were supposed to do. And now it's like the measuring stick game, if you will, between these two teams. So we'll see what it looks like. And to your point about, the SEC race and everything like that, Arkansas being a game out, that makes it a very realistic possibility for them. But now Florida, and Arkansas's had this week too where it's been easy on them. But now Florida is kind of getting that. Who did they just play? South Carolina?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so, of course, they're gonna hold serve there. I think they have Ole Miss this weekend. And so for Arkansas, you're a game out, or I guess if you win tonight, you would stay a game out. But that's what you want to do because I really hope, and we were talking about this, John, if Arkansas is able to get to that game next weekend with the stakes of either, okay, you're tied and you got a chance to pass them, or you're 1 game out and you got a chance to catch them. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. And so winning this game, it would be realistic that Arkansas could compete for the SEC title. If they lose, that doesn't take them out of the equation, but it really does complicate the math.
Yeah, I mean, in the SEC regular season title may mean a little to some fans, may mean a lot to some fans, but I think it's just nice to be in that conversation with teams like Florida, and then you're starting to look at some of these 2 and 3 and 4 seeds, like a Purdue, like a Texas Tech, who's now down a big man or whatever. So it's like it's just nice to be in those conversations rather than the what's going on with our team. Are we weak? Are we, do we have some issues here? Who do we need to bench? Who do you need to do whatever? We've had all those conversations. Every year you look back at the early season and you say, we're a different team than we were then. We lost that game in November, but obviously if we can get that one back, we'd feel better about it. And you feel like you're on this journey and you're ascending upwards throughout the year. Winning games like tonight would do a lot for Arkansas to be able to kind of look back at, the Kentucky loss, the Georgia loss, the Auburn loss, and even their non-conference woes and say, we're different than that team. That was the past. We're not going to lose any sleep over that because we know that we've kind of evolved since then. But if you lose a game like this and you do it in the way that you lost those Georgia and those Auburn games, it kind of leads you to believe, hey, we still have a little bit of that in our DNA. I don't want that to even be a factor in this game. I just want Arkansas to play, see if they're good, see if they're better than Alabama, but we don't need to still do this thing where we wonder what the DNA of this team is really like.
Yeah, and also, too, it's like, I'm sure everyone knows about the over-under in this game. It's said from SARACEN at about 184.5. I mean, this could be a track meet, man. I mean, we made the joke, but here at Goat Lab Red, we could have 3 wings by the under 8 timeout in the first half. I mean, because that's how quickly it could get out of hand. But, man, I'm not saying this will happen. I'm not going to predict it, but wouldn't it be cool to see like Razorback basketball play really good defense against a really good offensive team just once? Just give us that. Give it to where you're causing havoc. They're getting down into the 5 seconds left in the shot clock before they get a shot off. You're not fouling 3-point shooters when they do that. Like, you just lock down, and because if that would be the thing, it's like you'll take a win no matter how it happens. But just imagine if Arkansas actually just did that, played great team defense, and how even better you would feel about the win, because you're like, hey, this team actually is capable of locking down and stopping teams from scoring a billion points.
As it comes out of your mouth, you kind of feel like it's a crazy concept to think about. Like, oh, wow, how would they do that? But they've had some examples where they've done that this year. Vanderbilt, one of the better offenses in the country. What's their weakness? They're not that strong on the front line. Well, neither is Alabama. I mean, Aiden Sherrill is a good player, but outside of that, they don't have anything going on. Arkansas really put the clamps on them, and it was impressive when they did it. I think back to, teams that, and they don't play quite as fast as Alabama does, but they shoot a ton of threes like Louisville. Arkansas defended them really, really well in that basketball game. So there are examples of Arkansas stepping up and doing what they need to do defensively. Regardless of how well they defend, Alabama's going to hit some threes. They're going to hit some contested shots that are going to irritate you. So I think this is going to be also a big mental toughness type of challenge for Arkansas. Of somebody hits a three in your face, it's just like next play mentality. And that's why I hope that Arkansas will kind of take the fight to Alabama. When you play a team like that, sometimes you're thinking, all right, we're in their building, they play fast. We need to slow them down. We got to make this a sleepy building. I say take the fight right back to them. Arkansas is good at playing fast. You give up a three, get that ball out of the net, push it up the floor, and see if you can get downhill and get to the rim on them.
Yeah, we don't want to be having conversations about what the other team does well after this game. You want the other team to be losing sleep, worried about what you do well. And I think Alabama's probably been losing a little bit of sleep about Mr. Number 5, Darius Acuff. But I also think this is a game, the style and the pace of it, that is going to favor Billy Richmond. Guy like Malik Thomas, who likes to play the passing lanes, likes to catch teams napping. This is his kind of game. This is his kind of pace. I also think Arkansas's front court, we always kind of challenge them because they're kind of the one you're worried about in pretty much any matchup. But like you said, this isn't one where they're going to get tested as much on the defensive end. I want to see Arkansas's big men show some versatility. I want to see Trevin Brazile stretch the floor and be a matchup nightmare. I want to see Malik Ewan maybe attack Alabama if they try and go small, force some guys into foul trouble, get their bigs in foul trouble, and then really see how thin that front court line is. I think Arkansas, like you said, can turn the gun on Alabama a little bit because I think Arkansas presents a lot of issues. I think matchup-wise, this is a little bit different than Vanderbilt, a little bit different than some of those that you talk about, but it's a lot closer to that than it is Arkansas facing Florida, who's all front court driven, or someone like Michigan, teams that you really would, if you're Arkansas, look and be like, okay, we got issues against them. I think Arkansas presents a lot of challenges to Alabama.
Well, also too, I think you talked about today, Curtis, on Inside Arkansas Live, that Arkansas is one of the best trained teams in the SEC that does not turn the ball over, and Alabama does not cause turnovers. Is that kind of pretty much what it is?
That's exactly right.
Okay, so don't do the stupid thing where you turn the ball over today. Don't like that. That's, because we laugh about, anytime a team comes in against Arkansas, they could be the worst 3-point shooting team and they just kill it from three. Just don't do that. Protect the ball. And like you have been, because Alabama doesn't look like they're going to put pressure on you. They're not that type of team that's going to cause that. And so just don't let your strengths continue to be your strengths and just focus on that. And don't use today to where, Cal may flip a lid if they open up where they shoot 3 straight threes to start the game and go 0 for 3. Like, he may lose his mind. It's like, those are the things that I'm also kind of hoping that, they protect the ball, they play smart. I think they're good enough to, but at some point in time, we only got a few games left and Cal keeps talking about the things they need to stop doing. Well, hopefully they stop doing it and just continue to do the things that they do really well.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah. Do the things you do really well. As Nate Oates said about Nick Pringle, just be a little bit better at the things that you've always done good, but I really do think there's something to be said for not getting lured into the trap when you play a team like Alabama, especially if you're trying to play fast like they do. But this is very much going to be a game of runs type of thing. You're never out of it, and you should never be comfortable in a game like this. We've seen it too many times when Arkansas has played Alabama, and I think, Arkansas, I do think they need some volume from three in this game. You're going to have that to a degree, and we'll talk about the balance that you might have with defending that here and there, but they can't sacrifice what they do best offensively because Alabama's hit 3 threes in 3 possessions. They're going to do that, and then they might miss 8 in a row. But Arkansas can't get suckered into, okay, I got to come down and take a heat check, or I need to take a contested one because we got to match them. No, keep running your stuff, keep getting downhill, get that front court in foul trouble, and kind of stay poised in your attack. And that's one thing that particularly on the road, Arkansas struggled with at times where a team starts to put a little bit of run on you and get some momentum in their own building, and it snowballs and it becomes an avalanche. We saw it at Auburn. We saw it at Georgia. And then you start seeing the uncharacteristic things. It's A-Cup. He gets tunnel vision. He's not passing the ball all of a sudden. You're like, well, what's going on here? The shot selection goes downhill. A team that doesn't turn the ball over suddenly is, and it's turned into layups against a really good transition team. So I really think, yeah, you want to stop them from scoring as many points as possible. That's kind of the goal of defense, right? But when it happens, you got to just be like, all right, next play. It happened. It's over with. We can't lament on what we just saw.
Yeah, it's unreal how good Arkansas's 2-point offense is.
Yeah.
I mean, when they get there, and we've seen so many games, even without a dominant post presence inside, Arkansas will have games where they have 60 points in the paint. And it's just like, how are you doing this with 6'2" guards? You know, it doesn't really make any sense. I think that's something that's going to wear on Alabama a little bit, going to put a lot of pressure on them. And then the 3-point shooting is always the big kind of X factor with any matchup in basketball, but specifically with this Alabama team that's going to take so many of them. But I think when we've seen Arkansas at their best offensively, it's when they're selective but efficient from the 3-point line. And we've seen them have a lot of 8 for 21, 10 for 24 type of games where it's not crazy volume, but they're really getting a lot out of it. You have someone like TB makes 2, A-Cup makes 2, Thomas makes 2. You kind of spread that wealth a little bit. You're going to continue to get those looks inside, and those looks inside are going to make your 3-point, a little bit easier for a team like Bama that's really dependent on the 3-ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see a situation where maybe they do hit a few more than Arkansas, but it's like if Arkansas is 9 of 23 or whatever, the way they play inside the arc, they're going to shoot like 60% inside. I think that's going to be a little bit of an issue for Bama.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. And again, we're out at Goat Lab Red, 1214 North Garland in Fayetteville. They got all kinds of deals out here. Progressive wings. They got crawfish. There's a lot going on. Make sure you come out and hang out with us for the game. So we talked about both sides of the equation here from the 3-point line. Let me ask you, we'll just play a little bit of what's more likely. So what's more likely here? An Alabama team that averages 13 threes a game made, they shot 48 threes against Texas A&M.
It's absurd.
It makes no sense at all. 55% of their shots on the season are from 3. Is it more likely that Arkansas holds Alabama under 10 made threes, or that Arkansas levels up and they make 10 or more?
I think it's more likely that Arkansas levels up and makes 10 more, because they will know that. Like, it's not a mystery. It's not a secret. We've seen Arkansas have some matchups where they shoot like 15, 16 threes. There's no way you would go into a matchup like this just knowing. And I think it's probably more likely that it goes kind of like you said, where they're a little bit, Alabama makes a few threes and they're like, crap, we have to shoot a few. I think it's more likely Arkansas chucks a ton of threes than it is that they just don't have any volume. I think they're probably going to level up, but don't sleep on that 3-point defense of Arkansas.
Yeah, I kind of lean towards that as well, just because, they're going to have Alabama going to try to take away what Arkansas has been really good at, because Nate Oates is a great coach. Right? I mean, as much as I can't stand the guy, he's a great coach. And they're going to do things to try to, get Arkansas out of their rhythm, what they do well. They're going to try to take A-Cup out as much as possible. So I think that there's going to be times where they're probably going to force Arkansas, kind of like almost daring them to shoot threes. Like, yeah, they're going to make sure A-Cup and Malik, but it's like, oh, Trent Brazil, hey, we'll let you shoot. We'll let you shoot it through. Billy Richmond, be our guest. Sure. Try it out. But all it's going to take is Brazil to hit a couple, or Billy Richmond to hit that first one, and suddenly they're like, crap. So now we got to adjust and figure
Billy
it out.
Richmond hits a corner 3, this game's over.
Him or Malik Ewan, because I think Malik Ewan's has a good percentage this year from 3. But still, yeah, it's like if that starts happening, the floodgates are going to open up. But I agree. I think Arkansas could be a lot more shifting over towards hitting threes and leveling up. And I really hope that happens, because I would feel really good about Arkansas's chances at the end of the game.
There's so much conversation about the battle of the backcourts in this game. I mean, it's awesome. It's I saw Sharkensaw in the chat. He said this is probably the odds-on favorite to be the best game of the year in the SEC. I hope that it is. I mean, if Alabama wants to take the night off, that's fine. But at least from Arkansas standpoint, they better show up and be ready for this one, because the matchups are awesome. 2 of the front runners for SEC Player of the Year, 2 of the best guards. I think the 2 best guards in the conference in Arkansas's Darius Acuff and Alabama's LeBaron Philon. And then it's like whatever's better than an appetizer, but not quite the main dish between Malik Thomas and Aiden Holloway. That's awesome, man. That's electric. And so if we're doing like the what's more likely game, and Andrew, you kind of talked about the front court with TB and Malik Ewan and those guys getting involved, Nick Pringle playing his old team. What do we think is more likely here? That we'll go 2 different ways. First, that Arkansas is able to contain one or both of LeBaron Philon and Aiden Holloway, or that Arkansas's guards are able to match or win that matchup? I think I know the answer here.
I think Arkansas's guards winning that matchup extremely in play. So I'm going to go both kind of because I do think Arkansas I think Malik Thomas is a guy that, he could hit 6 threes very realistically. He hadn't had a game like that in a while.
We're waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting, but he absolutely is a guy that can get, Darius hit 7 just the other day after not really hitting a ton before that. So I think it's possible Arkansas's guards have a big night, but I think you've got to cut the head off the snake to an extent. You got to pick one of those guys. It doesn't have to be both, and it's going to be hard to game to game or possession to possession contain both, but I think you can probably limit one to well below their average.
Yeah, I see. I'm the same way. And what I'm kind of hoping is that Darius Acuff, I don't know if he even cares about this stuff, but I'm hoping he almost takes the game personal a little bit because we've talked about it. The guy's gotten SEC Freshman of the Week, but never gotten Player of the Week in the SEC. A lot of people talked about Phylon. Phylon's been in the mix. He's won Player of the Week in SEC. People talking about him being in the Player of the Year, but everyone, it seems like, except for maybe us, they look at Acuff, we're like, yeah, he's a great player, but probably Freshman of the Year, maybe. We're not going to get that. And I'm hoping that Acuff's like, okay, I'm going to show this everybody, take it personal like Michael Jordan. I'm better than this guy. And I'm going to take him on, and I'm going to showcase that. And I'm going to showcase my defense. I'm going to showcase it every up and down the court. And he just busts them up. And then finally, hopefully, people start to realize, you know what, maybe this Acuff kid is better than just Freshman of the Year. Maybe he can be in contention for Player of the Year.
Also, let me throw this at you guys real quick. What are the chances? Because obviously it works the other way, where I'm sure LeBaron Phylon's sitting over there being like, I'm tired of hearing about this kid.
My
I'm tired of reading all these.
Me out.
My coach calls me out. What are the chances Arkansas can bait LeBaron Phylon into like a little 1-on-5 situation where it's like, hey, go ahead and prove him wrong, buddy. Why don't you take 12 threes, step back threes or whatever? Why don't you go, ice your teammates out. You don't, Hayden Holloway, don't pass him the ball. You're good. Just go ahead and beat us by yourself. Maybe they can bait him into a little bit of that, especially if Acuff gets it going early. If he hits a few threes, he's got like 14 and a half. Someone like Phylon's going to be sitting there like, I got to match him. I wonder if Arkansas can maybe play with him a little bit like that.
I would love to see that happen. And, I think Razorback fans, you trust Darius Acuff in crunch time and big moments. He's been so good for Arkansas. There have been times where he's just had to put the team on his back. And I'm comfortable with that. On the road, at home, neutral site, wherever, that's fine. And the other thing about it is winning that matchup doesn't have to be, they combine for more points than Phylon and Holloway do. And that's one of the things that Nate Oates brought up in these big guard-on-guard matchups that he's had. The dude has a ton of turnovers. And I pulled it up on the pod at the Palace for the games that Alabama has lost this year and the turnovers that Phylon has had in those games. It's not just, he had a couple in this one or whatever, but it's like 6, 5, 5, 4. Like he's really turning it over at a high rate. If Arkansas is able to get some of those and then take care of the basketball like they normally do, I think that could go a long way there for the Razorbacks. Now, my other question is, we talked about winning the guard matchups or whatever. Now, what do we think is the more likely outcome here, that Arkansas wins this backcourt matchup with Phylon and Holloway, or that Arkansas's front court, which has been up and down, I guess we could say, actually takes advantage of what is a weakness for Alabama in this game?
I kind of like that. I like the Malik Ewan breakout game. In fact, we'll get to best bets in a little bit, but I've got a little sprinkle worth looking at with Malik Ewan. I think this is a big one where I don't think Bama is prepared for that. I don't think they're sitting there being like, hey, we got to watch the Malik Ewan post up. That hadn't been a big part of what Arkansas has been doing. I do think that Arkansas can maybe threaten them a little bit, especially with a team that likes to play small.
Are we not talking about Malik Thomas enough in this matchup?
He's another one when we get to best bets. We'll be talking about it a little
bit. And by the way, I'm 100% with you on the Malik Ewan thing. Man, I would like channel back to like the Houston game and some of these games that he's had where we're like, gosh, man, he looks like a star, kind of what they thought he would be. And it's just been like he hasn't been bad for Arkansas in these last couple games, but I'm just kind of waiting for him to get back into that mode, almost where he's a little bit selfish actually on the offensive end even, and on the offensive glass, because that's a big area where you can take advantage of Alabama, but you got to be careful because if you send too many guys to the glass, they're going to get out and they're going to beat you in transition, but your 5-man's always going to be there. And so Ewan underneath the rim, Pringle underneath the rim, Pringle's got a bunch of offensive rebounds himself. He just gets fouled and then he makes 1 out of 2 at the line. But those are going to be big factors there for Arkansas in this one as well. But yeah, Malik Thomas, it's he's almost gotten into the mode where he's being like efficient, playing within the system and everything like that. And that's great. You love that from him. Since he got in the starting lineup in 7 games, he's got 2 total turnovers. That's awesome. I kind of want him to be a little bit selfish in this game. I'm not saying be a black hole in there, but one attempt from 3 against Auburn when you were getting zoned most of the game. We talk about volume from Arkansas from 3. Like, he needs to be getting it. What do we want to set it at? Over under 7.5?
I'd say, yeah.
3-point attempts. Yeah. I think he was 3 of 8 against Mississippi State.
10 wouldn't hurt my feelings.
No, honestly. Yeah, seriously.
No, and I feel the same way, because you think about it. If he can just get going, especially if he gets going early, Malik Thomas, that is, and think about just automatically taking a lot off of Darius Acuff. Like, because suddenly it's like, we've seen games where Malik Thomas has not done much, and then we have seen where he has. But I think Alabama kind of feels the same way of like, hey, that guy over there, he's important and all, but Acuff is our main target. But if they start seeing Malik Thomas start hitting threes, suddenly they're like, crap. So now we have both of these guards on the floor that we have to watch closely, which opens up everything else. So just having the threat of him, even if he, doesn't finish with, if he goes 3 of 10, something like that, 9 points, whatever. But just the fact that you could have it to take some pressure off and take some attention off of some other guys, and the threat of him being able to kill you with that, I think opens up the offense even more.
Remember that game? We were it was at Oklahoma. We were there where Acuff, it was just kind of quiet for him in the second half, and it was Malik Thomas that they kept going to, and he wasn't really shooting a lot of threes, but he was just kind of getting downhill and scoring at the rim, and the floaters, the runners, and everything. He's had some like quietly really good games since the bye week. What do you have? 20 on LSU. I think he had 17 on Mississippi State. That's all good for me. I'm looking at this saying we need 20 out of Malik Thomas. I don't really care how he gets it. I hope that means he hits 5 threes or something. But I think a big scoring night from him will go a long way. Or to your point, like, you need Malik Ewan to level up and kind of be what he's capable of in there.
Well, I think with Malik Thomas, also the hand injury is a big factor here, because I think that was openly bothering him for a while. You mentioned the Oklahoma game. He misses his first 4 threes, and then in the second half, he's just like, let me get downhill and drive, and he was very effective. And so that's great that he's able to kind of show different parts of his skill set. But I think the 3-point volume, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's ready and kind of understands. I think we agree that it would be dangerous for Arkansas to try and just mimic what Alabama's doing and be like, oh, we're going to shoot 45 threes. But when you see a team on the other end that can shoot the way they can, having someone like Malik Thomas who's a threat and that can hit 3 or 4 in a game for you, that's a big equalizer that Arkansas might have in their sleeve. And also, he's another guy that's had to hear all this stuff about Darius Acuff. Not that he's jealous, not that he's sad, not that he's upset about it, but everything we know about Malik Thomas is he's wired to perform in these big moments. He loves kind of rising to the occasion. He's getting excited about the idea of playing in March Madness. He's excited about the fact that some of these teams are focused more on Darius. He seems like the kind of guy who is just waking up every day like, I can't wait to prove people wrong. I think these are the opportunities that he lives for.
Well, and also, too, to your point of like, I just don't want to get in this position, even if Arkansas is keeping it close, like say with 8 minutes left in the game, it's still in doubt. I just don't want to see a thing where it's like, well, let's just hope Darius Acuff bails him out again. It was like that for Oklahoma a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just give him the ball and then hopefully he does something really cool. It's like, yeah, if he can, that's great. But Alabama is just going to be too good of a team to allow that to happen. Like, I want to be in a position to where I'm sitting there with 8 minutes to go back, Dave. Hey, we need to keep feeding Malik Ewan. Man, that guy's killing it. Or, hey, man, we need to start looking for Trevin Brazile out there. That guy, he's just hitting everything. Like, I want to be able to say those things instead of just saying, please, Darius Acuff, save us and keep doing your thing because nobody else is stepping up. I don't want to be in that position.
Bench warmers when they're like, just hit another homer for us, Gus.
Yes.
I thought about that the other day when Ryder Helfrich was coming to the plate in that Oklahoma State game, where it's like, hey, just hit another homer for us. Come on. We can't do it. You do it.
So allegedly we've got Jimmy Dykes on the call and Doug Schau's officiating the game.
Oh, my God, we're cooked.
Does that change how we feel?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It kind of changes how I feel.
That just sucks.
But also,
what's Jimmy's NASCAR
I'm more concerned about the Schau's version of this.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
But also, it could almost maybe go into Arkansas's favor if it's a foul fest.
About to say, because maybe he feels bad.
Aside from only having 7 players.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking about like specific the Alabama front court in particular. Like Arkansas.
If you get Aiden Sherrill out of there, yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I feel like that could be beneficial because a lot of Arkansas's best players, frankly, don't foul that much. Yeah. Like, it's not like Darius Acuff's going to get 4 fouls. Even Malik Thomas doesn't foul a ton. He's had some games. I think the Kentucky game.
Pringle's really the only one that like
Pringle.
See, that's the thing is Arkansas has some bodies that you could maybe sacrifice up if we're in a foul fest.
Yeah. Pringle and Billy are the ones that I worry about from a foul standpoint, but then also just because there's no real alternative, Trevin. He's been really, knock on wood, like he's been really good about staying out of foul trouble, but man, in the games where he gets in it, Arkansas has been in dire straits. Happened to Michigan State, and they were never able to really figure it out or get him going. It happened against Houston, and he came back in the second half, and he was never able to get going. So, hey, I mean, he's been great from that standpoint in SEC play, but when you're down on wings and you got the one guy in Carter who kind of comes in and plays the 4 for you, it gets a little bit more complicated. You got to keep your eyes on it more. And so then my final question here, and then we'll have a little bit of fun, but Arkansas down 2 players, Carter Knox, Isaiah Sealy in this game. Look, you've got all your starters, right? You've got a backup guard in DJ who can play a lot of minutes for you. You got a backup forward in Malik Ewan who can play a lot of minutes for you. You're okay from that standpoint, but it is a little bit weird not having another wing out there aside from Billy Richmond. So it kind of takes away from your flexibility, your ability to put out different lineups out there, because Alabama's going to do a lot of different things. Does that concern you? Do you think does that change the way that Arkansas approaches this thing? My hope is that in Alabama, usually they'll play a 3-guard lineup for like 20, 25 minutes a game. Well, if they want to do that, fine. You got your 2 guards and Billy, or you put DJ in there. It doesn't matter. But it's if you get in a little bit of foul trouble and they've got those long athletic wings and they got a bunch of them, it could be a little bit troubling for Arkansas.
For sure. And I think having Carter not in there, because he just checks so many boxes in terms of he could play the 2, he could play the 3, he could play the 4, he can play with multiple different guys. Like there's nobody on Arkansas's roster that you like can't play because, I mean, even Billy, you can play them both together just fine. So I think that is what sucks about it. I look at DJ Wagner and I say this is his opportunity to really step up. He's not going to play 30 minutes every game for Arkansas. In fact, he might not even play 30. He's not going to play 30 minutes tonight, but it's like he does need to make the most of this because he might not get a better opportunity than right here to kind of prove his value. And in this matchup, you can get away with maybe playing 3 guards for 25, 30 minutes in this game. And so I think it's going to help. And Billy, of course, is going to have to just continue to be a madman. He might have some minutes at the 4. He might have some minutes at the 2. I don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting with him. But I think Arkansas is at least, I don't think they're going to not be able to get through the game. It just puts more pressure on Ewan and Wagner because they really can't afford to be invisible in this matchup.
Well, it's going to be stressful for me if it's, and I know obviously Cal's a Hall of Fame coach, but if you're trying to just constantly move in that guys in and out of the lineup, because you just like, we got to figure this out. We got to figure out what's working because they're miscombobulated. They're not, because you don't have those extra wings, that's going to be troublesome. But it's almost like it feels like as soon as you find it, as soon as you see the matchup that really works well, whether it's Brazil, going with 3 or bigger guys or whatever it is, find it and ride it till the cows come home. Just ride that thing because it's like I don't know. As far as Carter Knox and Isaiah Sealy, we don't know specifically as far as how long they're going to be out. But I'm like, this game tonight, just ride 40 minutes of them if you have to. If it's working and you're scoring and you're playing well, do whatever it takes to win.
Well, you think back to some of Arkansas's worst performances, it's when they had these first halves where they're rotating different lineups in. There's all these different substitutions. Sometimes that can kind of affect your rhythm. Less might be more in terms of the lineups, but I'm with you in that if you get into foul trouble and then you don't have options, that creates stress, that creates anxiety and matchup problems. But I do think perhaps that Arkansas can avoid the huge 4-minute stretch where they're completely out of sorts with just having the same guys on the floor.
It got a little bit sideways on Arkansas. Like they got healthy for the Auburn game, but then it got weird once they started putting those guys back into the game. And I don't think it was DJ's no good and Carter's no good, but I really do feel like they found something in those games beforehand, and you just got to find ways to get those guys integrated back into the fold. What is their role going to be? It's probably going to be different than it was before they went down. And I agree. I think this is a huge spot here for DJ Wagner because now you're probably looking at it and you're going, dang, Malik and Acuff, coach sees it now. He's going to play those guys 35 plus minutes a game. Where am I going to get in there? What's this? I just hope they get in foul trouble or whatever. Man, I come in, I've got a lot of pressure on me to hit a 3 or make a shot or something right away. With Billy Richmond now at the 3, if I'm him and I'm saying, all right, well, Carter's out, so can I prove that I can come in here and do my job and that we can play a 3-guard lineup and be effective against a team like this? He's going to play a lot of minutes tonight. DJ Wagner is for better or worse. I just don't see a way around that for Arkansas. For him to come in and have a good performance in this game, I think it's going to go a long way for him and a long way for this basketball team in terms of what their actual depth looks like moving forward. And I think we talked about this maybe yesterday, Andrew, on Inside Arkansas Live. I feel like this is a good game for it because you're not going to be running a whole bunch of stuff. And it's going to be kind of chaotic and up tempo and off script to where it's like, hey, get the ball, drive by pressure and just go to the rim. And that should be a comfortable thing for DJ as opposed to Cal doing the deal that I liked it the first time they did it, but I haven't been crazy about it lately of, okay, we're going to check you in and you're just going to be the point guard. We're going to move A-Cuff off the ball. And then it just gets a little bit slow and I wouldn't say stagnant, but it's just not the same type of flow and rhythm. In this game, it's just like, forget the play, forget floppy, just go get a bucket.
That's my thing. Just go get your points. And I'll tell you, I will feel the best if this game starts off with like continuing just to have Billy pick up right where he left off, where he's just driving and getting what he wants. And Nate Oates is yelling driver, and they can't do anything about it. That to me, that would be immediately where my confidence would get elevated within the first 5 minutes. Something like that starts happening.
Well, and I think one thing to keep an eye on in this game is basketball players always find a way to rest even when they're playing. Bama doesn't necessarily guard every single pass. They're not going to really, make you work for every single dribble and every single handoff and every single pass. I think that's going to be a huge thing that helps because this style of play, although it is fast paced, it's a style that Arkansas is used to playing. And so they might not be as fatigued as it maybe seems. And then if they are, let's just call timeout. I know timeouts really are rarely used as actual timeouts. It's usually to set something up or just because, you got something going on the court. But I think Arkansas, them kind of playing their game and playing their style will help. And I think it might not be as grueling and demanding as you maybe think, even though you are playing with 7 players.
All right, folks, again, we're out at Goat Lab Red, 1214 North Garland Avenue in Fayetteville. Come on out and join us before the game. Take advantage of their progressive wings deal and crawfish. How about that? Andrew said he's going to get into some of them.
I'm definitely – I was debating doing it mid-show just so we could show it, but I'm 1,000% getting the crawfish plate with the potatoes, the sausage, the corn, all that.
You're going to was it squeeze the head, pinch the tails, or what is it exactly?
You got to suck the juices out of the head.
Okay, yeah, that.
Truly, that is what you got to do
that. So yeah, plenty of that going on. Yeah.
So anyway,
what do you got? Good segue.
Yeah, no, that works. One more question for you guys, and I want to get in some bets and stuff like that. If Arkansas wins this game tonight, it will be because of who? And you can't say Darius Acuff.
Trevin Brazil. I don't think Trevin has to do anything other than, frankly, what he's been doing. But I think Arkansas is going to have to hold serve in the rebounding department, which this might be a matchup they can do it. I think Trevin's a huge key to that. I think he's also a key to maybe getting some of their guys in foul trouble and really threatening Alabama on the other end, making their bigs work. And I think just the rim protection he's brought Arkansas lately has just kind of come out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, Arkansas is now one of the best shot blocking teams in the SEC. Love to see it. And I don't know if Bama's necessarily going to challenge him a ton at the rim, but I think if you can force Alabama to be as one-dimensional as possible, that's a huge one. And Arkansas really just doesn't lose a ton of games that Trevin plays well in.
All right, mine's going to be kind of dumb, but I'm going with it. Arkansas wins if Nick Pringle plays well. I'm riding it because, again, I just want to assume that his faces former teams, he goes and gets it done. Now, I'm not saying he goes out and gets a double-double, which would be awesome. But if he can have one of those games like he had, I forget which team it was, that maybe it was Mississippi State or whenever, where he got double-digit rebounds and had 4 points. Something like that, to where you get those second chances with the offensive rebounds, you kick it back out. To me, that and just having that big more defensively than not just offensively, but because I think offensively, Arkansas is going to be fine. They're going to score points. But if you have that guy down low that's causing some problems down when Alabama's driving it, who's getting those offensive rebounds, who's getting to the foul line. I know he's not great at it, but still at least getting to the foul line. I think it just opens up so much more for Arkansas. And, we've seen he's capable of being one of those guys. And I know Cal's talked about it, but man, if you told me that Nick Pringle is going to have a really good game today, I'm immediately saying Arkansas wins this game.
He gets me 11 rebounds again. I feel really, really good about it. And he even said after that South Carolina game, right, that he kind of had this one circled against Alabama. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? So hopefully he shows out a little bit. It would be nice. He's had some of those games mixed in there. Usually when Nick Pringle plays well, Arkansas does play well. I'll go Malik Thomas. I see everybody in the chat like, why can't we say Acuff? Why can't we say Acuff? Because it's a given.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
of course. That's a cop-out.
Yeah, you're going to get that from him. Like that is understood. He's Batman in this operation. We get it, but he's got to have a Robin. That's why you can't say Acuff. I'll go Malik Thomas for all the reasons that we already laid out there. We can move on. I feel like when you got two guards against two guards like this, you need both guys to step up, and I hope he hits some threes. And if he does, I'm going to be really happy.
3 steals from Malik Thomas tonight too. I think it's
ooh,
going to be a loosey goosey, just throwing the ball around, passing up court. He's gonna be able to play some passing lanes tonight.
I like it. Okay, let's get into some of our best bets from Bet Saracen's, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. They have all kinds of stuff out there. Like we used to just hop on and be like, all right, well, what do you see from the double R props? But now they've got a million and one different specials. Before we do that, though, I do just want to I want to see where the line's at. I want to talk about this over-under for a second, which is just, frankly, it's absurd. So the line has moved again in this game. When we walked in here, it had dropped to Arkansas being 3.5-point dogs. It's back up to 4.5 now.
The Sharks are going back and forth, eh?
Yeah, how about that, man? That over-under is set at, where are we? 183.5. So it has dropped 2 points since we were just talking about it. It was 185.5 earlier.
Interesting.
What do you think?
So I don't know. My bets are going to be contradictory. I would take the under just because of how high the number is.
So many.
But I've also got a lot of bets that require people to score a lot of points and for Arkansas to score 100. So I won't be upset if that under doesn't hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like anytime that I feel like it's going to be the most high-scoring game, it never is. I feel like it always goes downhill from there. But yeah, I'm probably going to still take the over just because like Arkansas still can't stop anybody, and I don't see anyone stopping them from scoring. So.
Dude, Arkansas's on Bet Saracen, they are minus 600 to score 80.
Saw that.
Minus 600. I'm like, I mean, listen, they're going to score 80, but I'm like, geez, bro, that's like not even worth.
You're losing money.
Like, that's crazy.
It's insane. It truly is. Okay, so some of the best bets. I just want to throw this one out there real quick. You tell me if you like it or not. Remember when Arkansas played South Carolina, Nick Pringle's old team, he scored the first 4 points of that basketball game. They always do the first scorer thing for Arkansas. Do you think that they think about that? Because Cal loves to draw up those little early lob plays and everything like that.
You think they're betting on? You think they're thinking about the props?
No. I'm saying, do you think that they're thinking about Nick Pringle and his old team? Because Cal loves to draw up the lob play to start games.
Yep.
1, 2. Darius Acuff loves to take a terrible shot to start games, and Nick Pringle loves to rebound it.
Yeah.
So I see that there for Nick Pringle at plus 700, and I just think, why not?
It's the best odds. He's on the floor. You know what I mean?
Last time we were here, he rebounded a miss, put it in for the first.
I like
points.
that. I also don't hate Billy at plus 500 to just kind of keep at what he's doing. Like John said, just hit the ground running, carry over what you're doing, and just maybe a transition layup or something. I like both of those guys. Acuff's plus 200. Which, it's very possible he just pulls up from mid-range. I just feel like that's, boring,
Yeah. No, I'm with you on the I think it's going to be Pringle or Richmond. I think that's the good money right there.
Yeah,
I keep seeing Mick Cronin on the
we got a different
he's apologizing right now? Or
no, I think that's a different angle of the
yeah, I think it is, too.
I
he's next to a cement wall.
Yeah. I recognize that corner.
Yeah.
That's odd behavior. All right, Andrew, I know you got some good ones, man.
Okay. So I've got 5 bets here, all of which are plus 450 or more. So if my math is correct, you really just need one of these to hit for you to profit. And then I've got a couple after that. But Arkansas to win and Malik Thomas to score 20. It's plus 450. I think Malik, we talked about Malik Thomas, how he's kind of an X factor there.
Yeah.
These are all long shots, but again, you just need one. I think that's one you could get. Another one with Malik Thomas, 3+ threes, 2+ steals, 4+ rebounds. All 3 of those things are pretty standard nights at the office. I mean, he gets 2 steals in the first half of every game. So that's an easy one. He's rebounded pretty well. He had 10 the other day. He's consistently in that 4 to 5 range, I feel like. So 4 rebounds is very doable. And then 3 threes. We've been waiting for the 3-point volume. We know he's capable. He's the best pure shooter on the team. Hit 3 threes in a big game, young man. Just do it. That is plus 850 for all 3 of those very reasonable things to happen. We've also got Acuff 10+ assists plus 750. Acuff's to score 30 plus 600. And then the Malik Ewan double-double from the Clouds plus 550. Love the Malik Ewan double-double. It's going to be the ugliest 12 and 11 you've ever seen. If any of those hit, you profit. And then I've got Arkansas to score 100 at plus 350 if you're feeling juicy. And then Arkansas to win and Acuff to score 25, which I think those 2 things are kind of like, if one happens, the other probably happens.
Sure.
Plus 350 on that one as well.
There you go. Any you like, John?
Because there's a lot of them that I'm looking at. But
did you have any for DJ?
No, there is one interesting one of his. I can't remember what it was, but it was like him to have a couple threes, a steal or something.
2 plus 3s made, 1 block shot, and 1 steal at plus 1,200.
That's at plus 1,200.
That's absurd.
Yeah, just over 2.5 assists and over 18.5 minutes at plus 350.
Yeah, it's his last chance.
They're going to put him at point guard. You should score plenty. He's going to play, so that's an interesting one.
Acuff and Thomas both to score 20.
I do love that.
I like that.
What's
a lot.
that one?
Plus 230.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that. It's not as high as you'd think.
Yeah, geez.
It's
There's them to
pretty
score
common.
30. I think both to score 30 is like, was it like plus?
Yes, plus 1,800.
Oof, yeah. That one is more enticing to me than the 20-point one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, man.
Dude, if both of those dudes scored 30 in this game, we might just literally go straight to Dixon.
Yeah.
What's the triple double at today?
2250. That's
Okay.
2250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you mean the thing that's just never going to happen?
Yeah,
But
about
the one
that.
time it does, it's going to piss us all off. It's like, man, the one time I was going to bet on it didn't happen.
It's going to be Malik Ewan if someone gets a triple-double.
Wouldn't that be something? Like just like the most random player to get the triple double. It's like Courtney Fortson. Like
We'll start comparing him to Jokic.
He just hits a bunch of those backdoor passes to the guards, just gets 10 assists.
oh, that'd be
The
brutal.
thing about Ewan is he does it once, and then he's just trying to be real slick. He's like putting
Yeah.
English
Oh.
on the pass. And
He's missed on like 8 of them this year for sure.
I know. Okay, let's get into a few chats here, and then we'll wrap it up because we're only about
Yeah, we
15
got
minutes
game
away from
coming up.
tip, which I love it. Appreciate the super chats that we have in here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. David says, "What scares you more, LeBaron Philon or Doug Shouse?"
Philon.
Philon for me because I like I said earlier, I think the poor officiating might or might not hurt Arkansas. Like it very well could, but it's like you could at least maybe get some rigging on your end there.
Well, do you guys remember the last game that Doug Shouse refereed for Arkansas?
I remember him like shoe flying John Calipari. I don't remember who they were playing. though.
Kentucky.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
I'm hoping that because it was so bad that now they're going to be like,
overcorrection.
yeah, it's going to be overcorrection. Like, dang, man, I'm going to throw you a bone a little bit.
I like
there,
that.
Cal. You know, we kissed and made up. It's all good. Probably not going to happen, but that's what I could be hopeful
Those
for.
guys have been through some wars together.
I tell you,
I mean,
man. Yeah, they've
over
had a
the
few
years,
games.
so.
Had a few games.
Yeah. I like this from Sharkansas. He says over under 9.5 NASCAR cut references by Jimmy tonight.
Well, Billy's going to score on at least 7 of them.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I mean, that'll give him some opportunities, and he'll probably show some replays. I think you can get to 10 pretty easily.
He'll say it every time. Every time.
I just remember he always has words that just pisses me off because he says them so much. What was it, Folky? When he was talking about Fulkerson from Tennessee.
Yeah,
It's like,
somebody in the Discord mentioned this earlier today, and it stuck with me ever since because it does get on my nerve when he does it. Instead of saying a cuff, he'll say 5 in white or 5 in red.
I've noticed that.
I'm just
He
like,
does
come
do
on,
that.
man. Like, yeah,
He's got a name.
yeah. And put some respect on
Say
it. will ya?
his name.
This isn't Kansas State. The name's
That's
on
right.
the back of the jerseys. Okay.
Correct.
Which, by the way, pretty funny that they fired Jerome Tang and then they blew out Baylor, who is probably where he's going to go be an assistant coach, like right after that.
That
but
is bad.
that's neither here nor there. Heartbroken Hog says Acuff 40 ball loading. Now Acuff has had a couple 30-point games, and he's been like the picture of consistency throughout the course of the whole year. But when you look at the elite freshmen throughout the country, and he's one of them. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but like Michael Brown has a 40-plus game. Kingston Flemings has a 40-plus game. Keaton Wagler.
I bet you won't, Darius. I bet you won't.
Yeah. Do you have that in you? Are you about that life? We don't know.
Many are saying you don't have the balls to do it.
I can't wait till he gets 40 because then he's just going to be SEC co-player of the week. They're probably going to give it to him. But he's going to be co-player of the week. That'll happen.
Probably so. Yeah, he'll share it with Owe or something.
Yes.
I'm okay if he waits until the Florida game to drop 40, though. I want my record, my stance clear. I'm
There we go.
okay if he waits until Arkansas goes to Gainesville to score 40.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like that. Just a few more, and then we'll wrap it up here. I see from Nikki says, do you think with the Toppin injury that we move up? First of all, I just want to take the opportunity to say that stinks, man.
Genuinely.
We've seen him twice now in person, and that dude is special. There's Darius Acuff right now on the screen, by the way. He looks as just relaxed as possible. So that's
Per
good.
usual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not really a real anxious customer that Darius Acuff.
No, I hate that for Toppin, man. He's such a great player. Arkansas won't move up because Toppin got injured. Arkansas will move up if they keep winning and Texas Tech loses because he got injured. They lost to Arizona State. So, yeah, I mean, like if Arkansas gets it done tonight, not only would they pass Alabama from like on the seed lines and stuff, they would most likely pass Texas Tech too. So, to answer your question, let's see. A couple more that I saw. Yeah, I wanted to bring this up from Arkansas because I mentioned it earlier, but he said this is without question the game of the year in the conference so far. So as we wrap things up here from Goat Lab Red, are you buying into that? Like, do you think we're about to see a little instant classic action here on a Wednesday night?
I'm hoping so. I was thinking about hoping not, but I'm hoping so because I think that you got two teams again that there's a lot of similarities. There's a thing, both of them are riding a win streak a little bit because I think Alabama's got 4-game win streak. Arkansas's at 3. Both teams are ranked right there 20 and 25. There's a lot of things at stake here, and I think they're going to bring it. I just wish both teams were at full health. I really do because, that'd be a lot more helpful. But, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games that we're either going to be, like, pissed or happy afterwards, but we're going to be exhausted no matter what because we're like, geez, what a roller coaster of a ride that was. Like, it's going to be an exhausting post-game show.
I think it is going to be an extremely entertaining game, but I'm going to go ahead and leak the script for you. Arkansas will get ahead early. They will control this game, and they will win this game, but you can never feel confident with Alabama. Even if you're up 14 with 4 minutes left, they're in a game, and they have that kind of spurt ability. I think they're going to make their runs. I think Arkansas might get up as much as 14 in this game, but Bama's going to continue to push them. You're going to keep seeing it kind of fluctuate. Oh, crap, now it's a 3-point lead. You're never going to feel comfortable. And so then when you win close, it's going to feel extremely rewarding. And I think Arkansas gets a huge win tonight.
It's usually been close down there. The last time Arkansas went to Alabama, actually, a much worse Razorback team went and played a much better Alabama team, and it went to overtime. And Arkansas lost that game, but for whatever reason, they might not win down there very often, but it's usually a highly entertaining game. So that's what I'm expecting in this one. Any final thoughts, final predictions before we get out of here?
Malik Thomas, please shoot the 3. We just want to see you attempt them, and we feel like if you shoot 10, you'll probably make 4. So let's just go ahead and do that tonight. That's all I have to say.
Grant Nelson ain't walking through that door.
Yeah.
And I think Arkansas is going to take care.
Neither is Charles Bediako, by the way.
That's right. Thankfully.
Well, he'll be on the bench actually, but he'll just be in his warm-ups. So
but I think this is finally the time where Arkansas ends this losing streak to Alabama. I think this is when they take control. I think they take care of business. I think it's going to be an exhausting game, but I think it's going to come down to one possession no matter what. And I just hope that Arkansas makes the plays down the stretch to come out on top.
I like it. That sounds like a nice little plan to me. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here at Goat Lab Red in Fayetteville. And you still got time to come out here. We're going to be hanging out here watching the game. Take advantage of the Progressive Wings. Take advantage of the crawfish deal. And take advantage of the opportunity to join us again and see our faces for the Pod at the Palace postgame show when this is all said and done. So for John Neighbors and Andrew Ellis, I'm Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Enjoy the game. We'll see you afterwards for the postgame show.